Pike County Fiscal Court call to order. I need a motion to approve Penny Burke as temporary clerk since our esteemed Rose Farley is on vacation.
Motion.
Motion, Magistrate Robbins, second from Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson? Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Present. Madam Clerk, we have a quorum. Please call the roll, please.
Judge Rutherford?
Present.
Magistrate Anderson?
Here.
Magistrate Johnson? Magistrate Murphy?
Here.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dotson? Magistrate Harris?
Yes. We now have Pledge of Allegiance led by Magistrate Murphy, a veteran.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have a copy of the minutes in your folder. Jeannie and I have reviewed them, found them to be correct. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the July 2nd meeting, please? Motion, Magistrate Johnson. I have a second, Magistrate Robinson. I have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson? Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris? Judge Rutherford?
Yes. We have nobody signed in for public comments. We have a report to give the court, very short. Bobby, if you'll pull those up, we will, on the screen, we will, it's the Veterans Travel and Memorial Wall was a great success. I want to thank all of the, everybody that participated in it, all the county employees, all the volunteers we had. I want to especially thank Jeannie Robinson, who was the coordinator, and Judge Hayes, who of course chaired the meetings that was held, the many meetings that was held between the different groups. It was, I asked the gentleman who came with the wall on the last day he was here that morning, and I said, will you give me an estimate of how many people that came to the wall? And he said, I can do that. He said 5,000, and he said, remember what I told you when you was here the first day, and it was raining, and the bad weather forecast. He said they will come out and see it. They bring their umbrellas and their raincoats. He said because they've done that around the country. The helicopters was when I was up there every time that. You couldn't even walk because the people up to the helicopters and in line to get to find somebody on this wall. So it was a great success. We need probably, Jeannie, we need a motion today authorizing us to get on the list to bring this back in about 4 years or 5 years, something the committee can determine. And we need to get on the list. It took us about 3.5 years to get this traveling wall to Pike County. And it was kind of sad in a way, but it was, and I wanted Jeannie to make sure that the magistrates get a copy of the opening ceremony. I thought, and the gentleman who was with the wall said he thought that what you all put together on the committee and what Jimmy Kinney and his people did in regard to the motorcycles, and I didn't see any on these here, the motorcycles, but they was, looked like to me 185 to 200 motorcycles escorted to the site. So I think today that we need a motion to authorize me to write a letter on behalf of the fiscal court thanking them for coming and for making that available to us, and to ask that we go on the list down the road about 4 to 5 years, or ever what the committee decides that they want to try to get it back. So I'll entertain a motion. Motion, Magistrate Anderson. Have a second? Have a second, Magistrate Murphy, a veteran, and we'll have a roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson? Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Thank you. And want to thank the city of Pikeville, who we could not have had this if they hadn't have co-sponsored it with us and provided the soccer field and available to it. We will also contact the group in South Carolina who brought the helicopters and see if they would be available in future years. So move on, Bobby, to the next one. We Hatfield and McCoy. You all are aware of the magistrates, myself, and you all of the opening they have, and I think we have one tomorrow night, Hillman, tomorrow night at 7:30, I think the time is, and if this is going to be a great production. The opening is Friday is Friday, the official opening for the people, and it's been advertised very well. And it's been on the internet, in the papers, and story after story on it. And I want to thank Pike TV for what they did, and Al Greenfield for producing and directing a program at the theater at Elkhorn City in regard to Blood Song, the story of the Hatfield and McCoy. I think this will be a great addition to tourism in this county. We had a meeting yesterday with the Transportation Cabinet, district engineers in Hillman. They are bringing the message signs over there, be on site to try to make sure that somebody don't get hurt crossing the road. We got an update yesterday from another meeting that we held with Charles Carlton and I from the coal company. And they say that the documents are being prepared, the engineering work has been completed. Am I correct on that, Mr. Carlton? And that the engineering work has been completed and the documents are being prepared, and the county attorney will get those, and then he will advise the court on that we will have that property. Able to be on site recently with Magistrate Dodson and to view the work that has gone on. Understand the bathrooms is going, as Magistrate Dodson reported, the contractor in Damas is going to put the temporary in the commodes and stuff, so those restrooms will be available. And also Public Works has worked with Hillman and others to get the sound equipment and lighting equipment in with the Jeff Branham Communications. So everything's go. Mr. Dodson, Magistrate Dodson, as far as I know, so you might want to speak to that, please.
Judge, it's a lot of work going on over there right now. Hopefully they'll get the lights and things up. The rain has delayed everything, and Damas and his crew's they're just doing everything they can to get a building built for the sound system, and they're working on it today. And we just seem like every day we have a real bad rainstorm come through over there, and Mr. Branham's putting the lights up today and trying to get the sound system installed. He says that it will be ready to go. He said it might not, if things is not all completed, it won't be nothing that will stop the production. Sure. And we've hopefully to use that parking lot, I guess that property you just mentioned there a while ago. We're going to try to do a little grade work on it and get it ready for parking. It's pretty good shape right now, but we just want to make sure with all the rain. But I just want to thank the court and Public Works and everybody's had part to do with it. You know, it's just unbelievable how you take a piece of property and make something like this happen. And, you know, we've all got something to look forward to and be thankful for.
Master Too many years ago that when they had the opening of the public housing on at McCarr, that Hillman drove me up the road in his truck, and here was this piece of property that probably 4 houses had been on that had been relocated. And and as Magistrate Dotson said, to see it transformed into a Hatfield and McCoy Park that has been done.
And Judge, I just want to remind the court that people are still donating to the county for this thing to happen. We had a guy call me a couple of days ago, and he said, I've got a new stainless steel roll-up door for your sound system building. So Damus and them are trying to put it in now, and he donated that. And we had another donation on our lumber from Hannah Lumber to build the building out of. So Damus probably put the building together at a pretty good price, won't you, Damus? It won't be he had to buy a few things.
Yeah, I think we can get by with what we got budgeted for.
Okay.
Master Dodson, could you give us all directions how to get over there tomorrow night?
Well, Leo, coming from your area, I guess you'd probably come across Big Creek Mountain, wouldn't you, and down through Peter Creek?
Through Phelps?
Yeah, and across Pounder Mill there near Fraburn, and that takes you over to Blackberry. And when you get to the intersection where the fire department is, you just take a right, and it's probably about 2 miles down the road. And people coming up 119 will go to Velocity there at South Williamson and take a right and go up through Hardy and across the mountain. And then when they get to the intersection over at Dead Ends, turn left, and it's probably a couple miles down the road. Can't miss it.
Can't miss it once
Right before you
turn
get to
left.
make one.
Next, we have, I attended a meeting at the District 12 office, and we have Sir George with us. Jeannie, I'll need you for just a minute. And it was a great announcement to be made, and Mr. Bell, what's the lady's name?
Is all that's about you.
And the Secretary of Transportation of the Commonwealth, Secretary Hancock, and his group had been to San Diego, California. And Pike County, Kentucky had received an award at Pike County in that on the drive down. And it was, and Mr. Bell, one of the employees of Bill Bell, the Executive Director of the Kentucky Highway Safety, he wasn't able to make it, but he was on the telephone, and he told the committee, the drive-down committee, about the secretary and his group being in San Diego, California, and receiving an award on the percentage of the deaths, and I don't have that before me, but Sarah, just to take just a minute, if you'd come up and give us just briefly of what improvement, and I'll continue to talk as you come up, but folks, we had a sponsor, East Kentucky Broadcasting, who was here at the opening, and as we declared this, that we had, we started here in this courtroom.
That's correct.
Sarah set it up with Jeannie, and it was declared that we was going to do something about it. And you brought all the law enforcement in, and the state police, the sheriff, the constables, the cities, the city patrolmen, and all. And then you had East Kentucky Broadcasting committed that day to Sir George and all of us of what they would do during the year, and they did their job. If you all listened to their stations, you heard every day talking about safety and seat belts and so forth. Then you had the transportation cabinet of their support for it, to look at their signage, to make sure stop signs was up. You had the county, you had Hatch and his people making sure stop signs were up to stop these accidents. And she has with her today, Terry Tackett, that's with her today, who was a coordinator. This lady right here is the most dedicated lady. When you give her something to do, it gets done. But beyond all expectations, now this is nationwide, Kentucky-wide, but in Kentucky that Pike County received this award, and that was given on August the 27th at a luncheon in San Diego by the Governor's Highway Safety Association in San Diego.
Right. Thank you, Judge. On April 23rd, 2012, Judge Rutherford, on behalf of the Fiscal Court, declared Pike County the only drive-down county in Kentucky. We realized that was a symbolic thing, but it was very important. We brought together all of the Pike County Highway Safety Team had brought together all the law enforcement folks, people who were doing education and safety training, folks from the health department who work with child safety seat instruction and installation, folks from the, excuse me, our engineers from the highway department, folks from Coal Run, City of Pikeville, Sheriff's Department, State Police, Vehicle Enforcement. And we were fortunate that East Kentucky Broadcasting agreed to be a corporate sponsor of this effort. The reason this came about is because the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety notified us in 2010 or 2011 that in overall highway safety concerns, and that's taking into account the total number of crashes, total number of injury crashes, total number of injuries, total number of fatal crashes, total number of fatalities, and the percentage of seatbelt usage, that Pike County was the worst county in the state. We were number one for something that we didn't want to be number one for. And we had bounced around for over a decade at either the first, second, or third spot with Fayette and Jefferson counties. Excuse me. So we decided that we wanted to try to inform people of this. This is the reason that or the primary reason, there's another one I'll get to in just a second, that our auto insurance rates are as high as they are. It's because of our own driving habits and how they translate into highway safety statistics. And all these numbers come from law enforcement accident reports. So from 2012 to 2013, in comparing that same time period, 2011 to 2012, we had the first year of drive down, we had a 19.8% decrease in the total number of crashes. Now they tell me at the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety that that may very well be the largest decrease of any single county in the United States since highway traffic records have been kept. 19.8% doesn't sound huge, but in highway traffic safety, it is huge. The state's decrease that same year was 3.3%. That means in raw numbers, we had 382 fewer crashes in Pike County the first year of drive down than we had had that similar period the year before. We had decreases all across the board. We had a 22% decrease in fatalities. That sounds bigger than the 19.8, but the raw numbers are small. It went from 22 fatalities to 17, but 5 lives were saved, and that's not small. So when you're talking about highway safety statistics, you don't have to have big, huge numbers to make a big impact. And apparently 19.8% is the largest impact that anybody knows of in 1 year in one county in the whole country. Now, the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety nominated the Drive Down program for the National Governor's Highway Safety Association Special Achievement Award. It's an award, it's named after a fellow named Peter K. O'Rourke, who was a pioneer in highway safety. And it's given once a year, and it will be presented to Terry and I are going to San Diego on August 27th. And to receive this award. I might also, the other thing that was different about Drive Down that affects our auto insurance rates that we don't connect to that or think about it is that our county attorney, Howard Keith Hall, joined our safety team. And in July of last year, a year ago this month, he introduced a motion in district court to require all moving traffic violations be heard in open court. In other words, a diversion plan or some other disposition of a moving traffic violation could no longer be done simply through paperwork without coming before the county attorney and one of the district judges. Our conviction rate on moving traffic violations in Pike County, according to the Administrative Office of the Courts, was 10% compared to the state conviction rate of 66%. We have an actuary assigned to our team by the Kentucky Department of Insurance. His name is Randy Peppers. He came and met with us during one of our regular safety team meetings. He explained to us that that conviction rate is figured into our insurance rates. If the insurance companies see that the county in question does not take moving traffic violations or traffic safety seriously in their court system, that counts against us as far as our auto insurance rates are concerned. So there are all sorts of aspects to this that we didn't even know about or consider when we first started this safety team. We're finding out as we go along. And we've only had 1 year. We're just getting started. There are a lot of other things to do. We invite anyone who wants to be a part of our team. It's a very inclusive group. We do not leave anybody out if we know they're interested. Just get a hold of me or Terry. And Terry takes care of all of our safety programs at events like Hillbilly Days. Tomorrow is the Healthy Fun Fair at National College. She takes care of all of our programs in the schools and has been a huge part of the Drive Down focus and emphasis this year. So the two things that make our program different from others that I'm familiar with in Kentucky are the corporate sponsorship that we have with East Kentucky Broadcasting. In fact, they came up with the name Drive Down and their promotion of our program, not just in public service announcements, but also remote broadcasts from events and having guests on their morning shows. Their commitment to this as something that's important to the quality of life in our community, and also the action of our county attorney and our district judges in taking these moving traffic violations more seriously than perhaps they had been in the past. The other thing I want to point out is that the Pike County Highway Safety Team itself spent $0 the first year of our existence. The Kentucky Office of Highway Safety in actual cash money spent $500 on Drive Down. So it was, I think we have also shown that you can have an impact without spending a lot of money. Of course, now I'd hate to try to put a value on what East Kentucky Broadcasting has contributed, but as far as actually, we don't have a budget, we don't have a bank account, we don't spend money, we just try to get things done. Thank you.
Sir, thank you, and Doug Tackett. Of course, I didn't mention emergency management. You all are involved. The committee has discussed that it takes 2 people to put in the safety seats for children, that all the fire departments, first responders, need to be trained so that out in this county that they can go to their local fire department and have the seat installed. So that's been discussed, and I don't think you was present the last time when we met, but that was discussed.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I want to apologize to Russ Cassidy. We wouldn't have even known what our conviction rate was on moving traffic violations if he hadn't done the research through the Administrative Office of the Courts. I didn't even know where to get that information. He did that research and did a series of stories, investigative stories, about how Pike County's conviction rate and disposition of moving traffic violations compared with the rest of the state. So I think we should give Russ a big hand.
Thank you. Any questions or statements in regard to that? Bobby, what else we have? Anything else on that? I made a trip recently to Frankfort and also into a county in the area to look at a center, a war room, set up for when we have disasters. And Doug, I put in your box this week for Pike County, Kentucky, and since 1953 to last year, was number 6 on the list, but when you look at the list, we're probably third, because 3 counties in California had 27 disasters. Pike County had 25. One other county had 26. So we were really third in disasters in the United States of America. And we realize that, what we've been through. It's unfortunate, but I've been judge in my 6th term, and I've had 21 of those. One was for snow, as that revealed, as you noticed, and the rest was for flooding. So I made a trip and met with General Burke. They set it up from the General Hatzel's office, and I went to Boone Center, toured the new one under construction. Then we got in the ar, and I drove over to a county that's in the circle of where from Richmond, Kentucky, where the toxic chemicals are stored. And down there they have money that FEMA has given for the large circle, and they're providing the money to build and rebuild all the centers and the war rooms. We are moving over to the Justice Building in one of the courtrooms. Been planning that for well over a year. We'll be moving over, and the war room, you will see this one, and that behind me is in that last one you had on your screen. Back here, at the back of that window, that is a 911 office in this particular one. But the 911 office that's in that one. The state police had ours, and ours, of course, is in the sheriff's office here. General Berg told me that day, he said, you all ought to get any grants you fall for. You're one of the leading counties in the country. I didn't have that, what I gave you then. But he said that we had missed a filing cycle recently, but another was coming up. And that we needed to file applications, that they are 3 large monitors, and I think you'll see some of them on your screen. There are 3 large monitors, or 4 large monitors in these facilities, and the tables that you use with laptops. So there's the monitors on the wall that you see. Then I think there was 4 of them in that facility. And this is the war room. This is where we use the conference room. This is where we bring the AEP Kentucky Power, where you bring the hospital representative, ARH Pikeville Medical Center, where we bring everybody together, the law enforcement, everybody, the transportation cabinet, everybody together for a meeting. And once we have this over to one of the courtrooms in the Justice Building, we will have an ultra-modern center. We will be removing the bench and the jury box. The seats will remain the same, and these tables, once we can get them, will be over there for the use. Everybody will have in front of them a laptop. They will be in this center. And then that's where the planning takes place. And to make sure that when a disaster is pending, we always, as Doug knows, we have a pre-meeting. Then we bring them back for the second meeting to make sure that if it don't happen, thank God. If it does happen, we come back, and then we begin work to rebuild the county. We have got around $7 million from USDA NRCS, U.S. Department of Agriculture, Rural Development, program that's ongoing. The FEMA program is handled by Jimmy Kaiser. NRCS is handled by Jeannie in her office. They are different programs, but they are about the equal amount of money. For the first time, and we've been telling the federal government for many, many years. I've testified in Washington, even when Herbie Deskins was county attorney. We both testified before a committee, joint committee of the House and Senate, telling these people that we need to relocate these people out of the floodplain. And this is the first money after all these years that we've been able to get. And I think we're gonna have 30, probably 40 families this time. Jeannie and Jimmy, how many we're gonna have in your programs? Okay, how many you got, Jeannie? 23. So we know that money is there. This work is ongoing. We had both programs have been in recently, and people are getting their checks, and we are doing other things through the housing authority to try to make property available so we don't lose these people that has to go somewhere else and locate. So we are blessed to have these programs, but we as we move forward, and we can't afford a flood, as Mr. Stacy kept saying. But one thing about it, and Rhonda and our treasurer, we certainly couldn't afford a flood. And the Lord has blessed us. It's been north of us, south of us, east and west, and they've had flooding the last 2 years. With our budget situation, we are aware that FEMA comes in, we have to put the money up. Now, we've had problems getting paid. They won't give you anything in writing, and when they're gone, they're gone. They owed us about $1 million when I came in office in '07. We've got that down. And Mr. Stacy, I think they owe us about $300,000. The state hired 21 new workers to make sure that they could get the money out after the ice storm once the federal government passes the money to them. The problem that we've had is we can't get the final inspection. So hopefully, us in budget problems, we informed them of that when we was working on the budget. Please get here and do this. We've talked to our congressmen, our senators, we've wrote letters, emailed, and so forth. So that is the update in regard to this type of program. So the reason I'm getting around to it is we need authorization for Mr. Tackett's office, with the help of others in the county government, to file some applications and authorize me as county judge executive to sign them and get them sent in so that we can have a facility over in the Justice Building that has the latest technology and the latest equipment. That money is available, I understand, from different sources that we could get and do this right as we move. And so I'll need a motion or
Motion.
a motion by Magistrate Anderson. Have a second. Have a second. Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Yes. Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Next on the agenda is the adoption of a resolution amending the bylaws of Hatfield-McCoy Heritage Days. As you recall, we passed we went ahead and passed the bylaws. Then, at further examining the bylaws, they had no proxy system, so we got to make sure that they can have people present where somebody couldn't go. Also was changed the fact that the county judge executive and the mayor was not ever who it was not on it automatically. So that was changed. They had one, and you're aware that we, in our negotiations with the city in regard to this Hatfield-McCoy Heritage Days committee, that we wanted a local chamber of commerce, which is the Tug Valley, and that we talked about and approved the Hatfield and McCoy. So then the city, of course, wanted the regional body to be a part of it, and they have been a part of it. They've been at all the planning committee meetings. So we have a change in regard to that we said that they had to be residents of the county, and they do, but what we did was said that the executive director who had been attending the meeting, and I didn't know this, and the city manager didn't know, that that the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce was not a resident of Pike County. He's a resident of another county, adjoining county. So he had been attending the meetings, and of course, this year, today, after we change this, we will have a legal body in the future years to operate this facility. 2 from county government, 2 from both chambers of commerce, 2 from the city, 2 from the county tourism, and 2 from the city tourism. So that will make up the board in the future. This year, it's getting close, so and you may pull it up on, I don't know where you have it on the monitor today or not, but Jeannie, when is that date of this year of the Hatfield-McCoy Days? I don't have it on what I have here, but
August 30, 31st, and
August
it's Labor Day
30,
weekend is
31.
what it is. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Saturday and Sunday. Now, this year, the Tourism Committee have been meeting. I've been to 2 other sessions. This afternoon at 2:30, we have another one. I met with the city manager, and this year, the committee has already been acting. They already have everything set in place for the festival, and they're going to continue that this year. Then the new board will take over for future years. We think that this will grow into that the state within 2 to 3 years will name this a state festival, and we expect it to continue to grow. It fits in with what we're doing over in Pond Creek and Peter Creek in regard to Hatfield and McCoy, and we feel that this is going to grow into a large festival this year. Of course, we don't expect it to be real large, but in future years, we do expect it to grow. So that is the way the setup is on it this year. The city manager and myself, the committee, which is 2 from county tourism, 2 from city tourism, and the 2 from the chamber, they are presently planning, have been for months, and now they have another meeting this afternoon in our conference room, which we will move on with it, have it this year, get this in place. Mr. County Attorney, I think that the city attorney was involved in this, and if you have anything to say in regard to it.
No, I've reviewed it. It's minor modifications of something previously adopted.
I don't understand, Judge, if you would explain one more time to me how you're changing the makeup of how the board members of the committee get appointed.
Board members will be the same, but the eligibility of people to serve will start at the top of both chambers. We know that the chamber, Tug Valley Chamber, has already agreed that a Hatfield-McCoy be appointed. So we know who's on our board. On the city's board, that will be the executive director. He's already been at all planning meetings, and him and somebody from the chamber have been assisting in planning this year. So the makeup of the board from our standpoint is not changed at all.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, have a motion to amend the bylaws as stated. Now, Mr. County Attorney, I don't think I missed anything. That was only 3 things that change was made.
That's correct.
Okay. Have a motion. Have a motion from Master Anderson. Have a second. Master McMurphy, have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy?
Yes.
Master Robinson? Master Dotson?
Yes.
Master Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. I reviewed the statute again this morning in regard to appointments to Pike County Tourism Commission or Bureau, whatever it is under the statute, and with Judge Hayes and discussed it with the county attorney. The Restaurant Association gives the county judge executive 3 names, and then the county judge executive pick a name and bring it to the court and recommend it, and then the court does its will. The one that out of the 3 names, I recommend Josh Huffman from the Landmark as a member of that body. Need a motion to fill that position. They, of course, need it. As you're aware, they are a restaurant tax in this, not ours, the cities, but they need a full board because that's what keeps, according to the city, when they presented it, keeps the expo doors open.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Magistrate Anderson. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson,
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy,
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dodson,
Yes.
Magistrate Harris,
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Next, we have on the agenda today the approval to renew our contract. It's up in regard to Pike County Sewage Treatment Plants. Judge Hayes, I'll let you just give a very brief history, and the county attorney might want to make a statement also.
Judge, this is with regard to 4 facilities: Dorton Park, Hardy Park, Belfry Courthouse, and Johns Creek Fire Department. This is the maintenance that had been done several years ago, I believe, by UMG through Mountain Water. And we took this over, Jeannie, 2 years ago. The court approved wastewater service and supply, and that is Jimmy Francis here in Pike County to do this work. He has been doing it. He takes care of all aspects: inspection, general maintenance, whatever these facilities need. Some of them need fairly constant attention, and I think every time it rains, we have a problem maybe at Belfry Courthouse, and we're going to have to look into that in the future about upgrading that facility. But in any event, until we get that done, we need to continue this. It's my after my review, nothing really changes. It's the same price, same services, same everything that we did last year, and I would recommend to the court that we continue these services.
Judge, I'll make a motion that we continue the service, but a year ago when we done the same thing, you know, I had a question on us putting our own systems in on these facilities, and I'll let Chris speak up on his Belfry Courthouse, but I was thinking that we could go with the new systems like we did over at Ford Mountain and do away with this.
Normally, Magistrate Dodson,
Saves
Mrs.
the county
May,
money.
usually at our meetings, I think that she's on vacation because she wasn't at the health board meeting last night, and she's always there, Carol. So I'd say she's on vacation, but they have to get.
Her husband's ill.
Her husband's ill, the treasurer said, but those systems have been approved by the state, but they're not given any approval for any to be used, and Mrs. May has made the request, not only here, but in the sewer area of especially Peter Creek, that those be used, and that is your fusion systems, the system that we became aware of after the 2010 flood on Harless's Creek, where the health department and the state would not let the people put their septic tanks back when their house was still intact, and wouldn't let them put the systems back in that they had in that had been approved by the health department before. And being a member of the health board, Carl, you remember that we requested that the Commissioner of Health come to Pike County immediately before the health board and to give us an answer to the problem of the people at Harless's Creek where they wouldn't give them a permit. And that's when we found the fusion systems. And Grondo Potter came before the health board, if you remember. He gave us with a PowerPoint of that type of system. So that was where it originated. It originated with Mountain Water District and through them, and then we ended up with the Commissioner of Health. And he committed at that meeting before the local health board that they would work on a solution. We had one plant had been in for months that had been contributed by a manufacturer and a distributor. At that time, we got the second plane in, and we had to wait 1 year to get approval, and the state approved it. So hopefully we can move on, Magistrate Dodson, to the fusion systems in the future.
Judge, have we had any problems with the one we installed over at Ford Mountain?
No.
Amos, have we had anything go wrong with it yet?
No, it's been working good,
So it's been a good system.
yeah.
Judge, I'll second Hillman's motion.
We have a motion second. Madam Clerk, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dotson?
Yes,
Magistrate Harris?
I'm gonna vote yes, but I wanna say something as I'm voting. Half the locations on this list here would eventually be served by the Belfry Pond Creek Sewer Project.
Correct.
That, we passed at the last court meeting on applying for a CDBG grant to put this in, and it's, my math may or may not be correct, but it looks like $31,200 we're spending here annually on these plants just for this one service. So half those locations would eventually be resolved with the Belfry Pond Creek Sewer Project. But nonetheless, we are where we are, and I vote yes.
Judge
Uh,
Rutherford?
Yes. Magistrate comment, Magistrate Anderson.
I don't have any comments.
Magistrate Johnson.
I don't have any, Judge.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson.
well, I wish I was getting along good as them fellas, Russ.
I'll get,
I said, I wish I was getting along good as them fellas. They ain't got no problem. But last week, Judge, we had a major flood over at Joe's Creek. And I want to comment on what a good crew that Pike County has. They went out about 10 that night, and they stayed till the evening the next day getting people back in and out of the holler there. But I just wanted to thank them for it and let the people know at Dry Branch, at Smith Fork, it just come through a little pattern there that we're working with, trying to get everything established. You and Jeannie's working with the NRC, trying to get some help to get this going. And Frankie's been meeting with them, I guess, daily, ain't you, Frank, trying to find out what we can get done. And Judge, we also have a problem up on Joe's Creek with the slip, and they're working on it, trying to get some help for that road. But on the other hand, we have some places that go to Joe's Creek to where our slide is. It's on the state highway that needs some attention, and I get calls and you get calls and Frank does about the break we have, but before you get to the county break, there's probably 2 or 3 up there, ain't you, Frank? It's kind of danger on the bus where it's on the state highway, but we don't hear anything from the school board or anything about the state going to fix them. They keep calling me and you, and they say the bus is not going to run until we get that brake fixed. And, we're working on it daily, and I just want to let the people know that everybody's is trying to get that brake taken care of, but, we just need the state to look at some ones that the bus goes by to get to the one that we have on the county road.
Mr. Hatcher, our friend Joe Stanley advised him of that situation over there, and so that they can, and if need to, put it on the agenda for my next meeting with the district engineer. And go over that way, get pictures of it, and we'll see if we can push them a little bit.
But Judge, we're going to try to, I understand they're going to try to put some signs out showing the directions to the theater they're going to do over there Thursday night. So Leo had a question on how to find it. So I think the people on the tourism is going to try to put some little signs out showing how to get over to that place. And I just I'm looking forward to it, and I hope we have a good turnout. And I'd like to see all the members of the court come and see what they have helped put together. And that's all I have right now.
Magistrate Hart.
Judge, I'll just say, Magistrate Dotson, I certainly plan on being there, and I'm excited about the play. I've kept up with the progress as it's from the beginning, and there's a lot of people to thank, you being one of the primary ones, and Chris Coleman and Betty Howard, Stephanie Richards, all the actors that are participating in this. They're just the board members, Betty Howard and But a lot of people have done a lot of work to get this together, and it's been a real enjoyable process for me watching the progress and watching it all come together in such a professional way. And I'll certainly be there. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope that we get good crowds, and I think that it will continue to grow every year once people understand that it's there and that it's available in the heart of where the feud actually happened.
I want to thank Mr. Maynard up in Doug's office and Charles Carlton for the work that they've done in regard to that park over there, having to get maps and provided to the coal company and others. And as I said, Magistrate Dotson said it, everybody working together, and it just makes things happen.
The only other thing I've got, Judge, is Jimmy Kaiser came up and looked at a place a couple of weeks ago up in Turkey Creek for Miss Maynard. There was a drain that somebody had actually built their house, covered the creek up with a drain, and built their house on the drain. And now the drain is collapsed, and the house is the drain is too small, and the house is ready to fall. And it's causing backwater to come up and flood this poor lady. And every time it rains, she just gets flooded. And I know Jimmy came up and looked at it, and I was hoping you could give me an update on what your thoughts were or what you think we could do for this lady.
I talked to Lee Pigman this morning, and he said they was a notice of violation has been wrote to the mortgage company that owns that home now. And he said more than likely what have to be done, they'd have to probably take the drains out and reestablish the channel in behind that house. That's what he told me this morning. I talked to him probably 30 minutes before the
Had he been in contact with the mortgage company?
Yeah, they've been sent a notice of violation, and they
So they
did
know
receive
about
it. They got their return receipt, so they
Okay.
got it.
Well, if there's anything that we can do, I mean, I feel really sorry for this
Oh,
lady. She's 70,
Doug
in her
Tackett,
70s.
those are pictures you brought me back some time ago.
She's an older lady.
Yeah, Magistrate Harris, Doug brought me those pictures of him and Jimmy. And I guess I got 6 or 7 8x10 photographs. I mean, it is a really good-looking house, isn't it? It's not no
It's a nice home that was
nice
built.
home.
on the-
Two-story house.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably it's a nice home.
But I mean, you just feel for them people, and the poor judgment used on the front end. But you still have to feel for them. It's a family here that has a real nice home.
But it's such a burden on the Maynard, Miss Maynard, yeah, to get out there. I mean, she just is in a tizzy every time the rain gets up, worried that her house is going to wash away. And I understand her, you know, what she's going through, and feel for her, want to help her. There's not a whole lot. I've told her there's not a whole lot the county can do back there other than just report it to the Division of Water and see if there's some permitting process that they didn't go through.
Yeah, right. They didn't go through the permitting process, and then actually when I talked to them probably 2-3 weeks ago, there was really nothing that could be done until they collapsed. And once they collapsed, then that opened the door for the notice of violation and the law being broke. And like he said, the mortgage company has it in their hands, because I think the people walked away from the house.
Well, I'm certain there should have been a permit in order
they
to
should
build the
have
house.
been, yeah.
In order to cover the creek like that, surely they would have had to have had a permit to do that, and the state wouldn't have issued a permit
Not to build a house.
not to build a house on. I don't think.
We need to assist them any way we can. If we need any waivers, it is an emergency. You can look at it. I agreed with Doug. It's truly an emergency for that family, personally. And it's whatever we can do, we need to help on it.
That's all I have, Judge.
The Magistrate's road work, Magistrate Anderson. Got a motion, Magistrate Anderson. Have a second. Magistrate Murphy, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson? Yes. Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Madam Treasurer, we're glad that you are back with us today. And so it's Treasurer's business.
Thank you, Judge.
Authorize any necessary transfers and interfund transfers to pay the bills, payroll, health, and life insurance.
Motion Magistrate Murphy, second Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of the corrected transfers on June 5th, 2013.
Have a motion. Have a motion. Have a second. Magistrate Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson? Yes. Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of previously approved transfers and interfund transfers for June 18th and July 2nd.
Have a motion. Motion Magistrate Johnson. Have a second. Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris? Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of the Treasurer's June 2013 financial statement and the financial statement for the fourth quarter ending June 30th, 2013.
Have a motion. Magistrate Anderson. Have a second. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Yes. Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Authorize payment of the expenditure approval list dated July 23rd, 2013, and any other utility and telephone bills that we may receive before checks are run either this afternoon or in the morning.
Do I have a motion? Magistrate Johnson. To have a second. Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Abstain.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
I have a question on this, as we had at the last meeting when we passed over it, whether or not to authorize the submission of the perfection invoice number JC 7856 in the amount of $37,118.49 to Keiko for payment and judge to sign disbursement request number 3 for the June progress billing. There's only $52,938.72 left in the account to pay perfection.
Judge, did they get
Mr.
all the
Chairman.
problems taken care of they were working
No. That, my recommendation is it be passed again. They came here and worked and said they had the problem solved. Problem is not solved. Jeannie, I think, has talked to them since. They're supposed to come back. My recommendation is just pass it.
on? Motion.
I have a motion, second. I have a roll call.
Just to
Magistrate-
clarify, this is to pass this,
Pass it over.
not to pay it. I just want to make sure everyone understands the motion. Okay.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Abstain.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
I have additional treasurer's business of Jeff Anderson submitted his travel reimbursement yesterday in the amount of $254.42 to be placed on the accounts payable list. And I also received a corrected copy of the court facilities local government reimbursement form for the new judicial center for July 1, 2013 through June 30th, 2014. In this year's budget, I have estimated 560-some thousand would be spent on the new judicial. They don't agree with me. Theirs is a little lower. It's about 70,000 lower. They estimated 495,000, but if we do go over at the end of the year next year, they will reconcile and pay us at the beginning of the next year. So at least this is close to what we had
At
estimated.
least we got a commitment to be paid later.
Correct. So I need the authorization for the judge to be able to sign this and submit it in order for us to start getting quarterly disbursements on the new
Have a
judicial center.
motion. Motion, Magistrate Murphy, second, Magistrate Robinson.
Johnson had just mentioned he has his travel reimbursement in his vehicle, but I don't know how much it is.
David, Madam Clerk, make that note. I have a motion and a second. Have a roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
I have no further business, Judge.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer. With personnel, we do not need, I understand from the Personnel Director, we do not need to go into session. They only have 2 or 3 things on it, and they're with temporary employees.
Judge, that's correct. There's only 3 matters we need to take up, and unless some magistrate sees some need to go into executive session, we can just take these up right now. They're all for temporary positions, and they're all for people who are already in place. The first one, Judge, is approval to hire Ronnie D. Dotson as a temporary heavy equipment operator at a 5H rate of pay per hour effective July 11, 2013. He's replacing an employee who's off on workers' compensation. I've talked with Magistrate Dotson about this young man. I've talked with him several times. A very impressive fellow. He was one of our temporary seasonal workers, and of course our commitment is to get our laid-off people back in positions as soon and if we can. With getting him back in as a temporary, by the way, all 3 of the seasonals who we had to terminate because of our budget situation. 2 of them are back as temporary employees for the county, 1 in solid waste, and this one, another one, has found a job in the coal industry, Judge. So they've done well, but that's personnel's recommendation. I understand from Magistrate Dotson he has been operating the excavator and doing a good job on his road crew. Next, approval to hire Terry L. Justice as a temporary mechanic for the Ford Mountain Maintenance Garage at a 5H rate of pay per hour effective July 22nd, 2013. He's replacing an employee over there, a mechanic's position, who has resigned. It is temporary. This was Big Jeff's Justice's recommendation. He wants to see how this fella does, but anyway, based on Jeff Justice, the boss over there's recommendation, that's personnel's recommendation to you, Judge. Next, Judge, one we just added, it's handwritten on each magistrate's list, is the approval to hire, Jeff, I think that's Lisa Adkins, is that right? I'm sorry? Lisa. Adkins to temporarily replace Ann Anderson, and that would be at a pay rate the same as Ann Anderson. I understand Mrs. Anderson is off on sick leave, and that would be effective July 15th, 2013. And of course, that's in Magistrate Anderson's office. That's our recommendation, Judge.
That's my recommendation and my motion to have a second. Second, Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Yes. Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Does any commissioner or director have anything that you need to take up with the court this morning? If not, this is a
Judge,
special session.
before we adjourn, I just
Harris,
want to
go
say
right ahead.
one thing. I saw in our packet a letter here from Jack Sykes, who is resigning as president of the and member of the golf course board. And I just want to say that just on a personal note, I appreciate Jack's service to the golf course. He's put in a lot of time and a lot of effort to keeping the golf course going, and I appreciate his efforts. He's certainly been a bright spot in donating his time and his efforts and his energy to keeping the golf course going over there, and he'll certainly be missed, and I want to thank him for his service.
A lot of prayers have gone up for Jack Sykes. We work with him very closely. We know what his health situation is, and we understand. I met with Jack last week, I think, Jeannie, twice. He is back to where he was before he had the major operation at Cleveland Clinic. But he is, Jeannie's setting up an opening of the new facility over there and to announce the Elk Run Golf Course, the name change. And that will be on our calendar to attend. At that time, we hope, Magistrate Harris and the other magistrates, that we can recognize Jack Sykes for what he meant. He designed that course, of course. There'll be some major changes. The board meetings will be held in this building in the future, not over there, because we're going to have to do oversight on that. We realize that now that Jack's not there, this body trusted him, and he kept the ship afloat. And so now that we have to become involved as a county in our finance department and others and monitor it as it goes forward. Asked Jack Sykes and asked Jeannie to get a group of names together and ask Jack for his recommendation. It's going to take somebody. Jack Sykes, as Magistrate Harris said, talking about Jack Sykes, he can't be replaced over there. So, but we still need to find somebody with business experience and who can give leadership to that board. And we've asked Jack to give me a recommendation so that I can make the final decision and make a recommendation to this board, hopefully at the next regular meeting. Magistrate Murphy.
Yes, Judge, I was reading obituaries last week too, that Mike Dugan was manager for years over, passed away.
Correct. Yeah, we noticed that. Bobby and I talked
Bill,
about that.
okay.
We talked about the last time we seen him before he just left, his health was reclining. We talked about it when we left the golf course. Motion to adjourn. Right.
He would call you back, and he done his best to try to help you. He'd be
Chick,
hard to replace.
I've said this to Jack Sykes. Engineers are engineers. I got a brother-in-law's engineer, Hatch. He'll talk to you from one subject point to point. And that's how they teach him in school. But Jack Sykes was different. Jack Sykes had a mind of a businessman and an engineer. And we know, as Master Johnson just said, how many times has engineers got us out of budget that Jack Sykes had to come before this body over here with a recommendation how to bring it back into budget. He is special. I told him the other day, I said, Jack, hope and pray that you're still young enough, you got so much to offer this community. And I hope the Lord will bless you and give you the health and the wisdom to continue. He has agreed, Master Harris, to still be a consultant to us in regard to the golf course after he leaves. Thank you, Magistrate Johnson. Motion to adjourn. Everybody approved? Please stand.